Welcome back to the channel. What can I say? Dallas was riding high and got knocked off the high horse. It happens sometimes. Last week, they couldn't tackle, they couldn't make plays, and they couldn't get off the field on third down. And on offense, couldn't find any type of traction until it was way too late. But that's the way it goes sometimes. But new week, new challenge. This week, we have the Atlanta Falcons who are sitting at 4-4 after what you might call an upset against the New Orleans Saints. Now, with Atlanta, they're a completely different bunch from what we come to see over the years. There's no Julio Jones, there's no Calvin Ridley, and of course, no Dan Quinn. So with them, it's kind of different to see what you expect and what should happen this week. As we always do, I'm going to have a special guest, or I should say a group of special guests to break down this game bit by bit. So tonight joining me is a very special cast and boys from the Talkin' Boys with the Boys podcast. Fellas, how we doing?
Yo,
we're doing good, man. Yo,
real good, real good.
What's happening, my guy?
Yo,
hey man, we in here, man. We in. Finally, I got you guys to come on through all these technical difficulties, man. So typically, how we do around here is we talk about the Cowboys defense versus the opposition offense, and then we switch sides, go one by one, bit by bit to break it all down. So I'm gonna have you guys for at least like an hour and some change. So if I know where to be at, go ahead and make your reservations now, though. All right, so fellas, let's start off with how can we find you guys in the podcast, on Twitter and wherever, but where can I find you guys, man? Adam, start with you, man. Drop that Twitter ad for us.
Man, you can find me on Twitter at HopDeVille, Adam Y, Talkin' Boys with the Boys. Man, host of Talkin' Boys with the Boys, man, available on all streaming platforms where you can find the podcast at.
All right, Mark, you?
I'm at Mark D's Corner on Twitter, man. Mark D, Talkin' Boys with the Boys. Facebook, Mark DeLeon. You know, just come around, come get some info, talk a little bit of mess.
All right, Dylan, my guy.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Dylan88Wilson, talking reckless and having a good time.
And definitely follow the guy Dylan on Wilson, man. He's like the troll king online, man. So if you're a Cowboys fan, gotta follow Dylan.
Yeah.
Also, man, Dylan, tell them about that YouTube channel you got, man, off top.
Yeah, off top, put out videos talking about the Cowboys, Lakers. Might find some scary movie stuff on there. And there's also a TikTok I got going on where it's an extension of it. So you follow me on Twitter. I have the link right there in my bio. Some good stuff in there.
Hey guys, for real, follow all these guys, man. They're all-star cast. Definitely follow them on Twitter and wherever you can find them on those platforms for the podcast. And once again, I'm LP Cruz, which you can find me at SDQ Flight Crew. So fellas, man, it's like we do here, we're going to talk Cowboys defense versus Atlanta offense, all right? So let's start up front with the O-line, all right? O-line. Off the cuff, what are your thoughts on the Atlanta O-line versus our D-line? Adam, I'll start with you, man.
Man, well, I guess, so according to Calvin Watkins, we're running it back. We're putting that boy Steele over there on the left side and LC on the right side. So we're gonna see, man. I don't see Atlanta. We were just discussing this earlier on our podcast, man. They don't create much pressure. So I can't even pronounce old boy's last name, man.
Is Fowler coming back this week? Fowler's coming back this week, right?
He's on IR still.
He's still on IR.
Still on IR.
I saw him. I thought I saw him practicing this week.
What's that old boy's name, man? I can't say his name.
Ojulari?
That's New York.
Yeah, it's New York.
Linebacker or outside guy? Inside linebacker?
No. He's on the line, defensive line. I think he's right the end for Atlanta. Man,
we're going to find out. Don't worry.
We're going to have to find out, man. But I can't pronounce the name, man. But he
starts with a C, I believe.
Yeah, but I think he might have a decent game against Steele, man. So we'll see, man. Yeah, we'll see. But yeah.
All right, man. Mark, thoughts?
Well, you know, honestly, from the offensive line standpoint, I do see why they're running it back in the way they are. I mean, you got to you can't just shake everything up after one bad showing on what we did. I am worried. I am about Steele because he got used a few times over there on one-on-ones. We're going to have to allow some help over there. We might have to chip a few times. We might have to bring him back over there. We might have to just bring an inline blocking tight end to go help out on that side. From the offensive line standpoint, I'm not going to question the Cowboys coaching staff. I'm not that, dumb from my standpoint. But Tyler Biotish, man, I'm wondering why McGovern hasn't gotten a shot at center, to be honest with you. I mean, we even had Kyle Yeomans on our show, and he was even discussing, the possibility somewhere of Lyle Collins getting a look at center. So I don't see any kind of movements like that. All I see is, Tyler Biotish still solidified in his position. Now, considering what's going on at left tackle, I think we're going to run it back, like Alan said, this week. But if Steele can't do it, I'm not opposed from putting Lyle Collins over there like left tackle, because physically he's a little more able than Steele. He's got better feet, and he's just a better prospect from that end. And Steele got a bit used. Flipping him from the right to the left, I think we saw the kind of difficulty Steele had. So
he will.
Yeah, I'm going to piggyback off you guys. We have a pretty bad offense. We had a pretty bad offensive line performance last week. Terrence Steele giving up 11 pressures. It just that's like as bad as it is, man.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna give y'all hope, because Atlanta is last in the league in sacks, and they're toward the bottom of the league in pressures. Yeah. So if we are running it back, I doubt Lyle Collins is going to have one of his worst games of his career again, and we should bounce back in a big way against them.
Yeah. Jonathan Bullard and Grady Jarrett. My bad, fellas.
Jonathan Bullard. Okay.
Yeah, Jonathan Bullard. I was thinking of that linebacker, Kududu or Duduje. I don't know. I can't say his name.
That's why I do the names on our show.
Yeah, that's why he does it. But yeah, they send that they tend to rush him quite a bit. He plays linebacker as well. Kind of the big nickel role that Curse plays, or Neil plays. But yeah, man, coming off the edge is Jonathan Bullard and Grady Jarrett, man, and no tackle Tyler Davison, man. So I haven't seen too much on Tyler Davison, so hopefully he's not giving Biotish fits, so to speak. But we'll
given their production on the D line, this would be a good week to run it back and see if you can solidify a few things from that end. Because the reason they're keeping Steele over there is because you don't want to move too many things around. I mean, You don't want to, drop this guy or make him do something left from when he used to do it right. So what they're going to try to do is see if they can still keep Steele over there and buy a little bit of time until we get Tyrant back.
I mean, so with that, fellas, I think I'm with both of y'all, actually everybody, really, because I think you don't want to make a drastic change from one bad week, as bad as it was, and it was bad. You don't want to flip it. Then I had to pull up the depth chart, look at the numbers for Atlanta, and it seems like with them, they don't do anything well. Like, if you look at if you believe in this, the pass, but I'm not even being funny. I'm being real.
No, you're right. The numbers are kind of deceiving because it makes it look like they suck. Yeah, you're right.
Well, I mean, look at it. So I looked this up. It's the pass block win rate, or run block win rate. It's bad, man. They rank 29th in win block rate, 25th in pass block rate. They don't do anything that wows you at all with the offensive line. Like, the offensive line seems like it doesn't do its job either way you look at it. Like, this is not a good unit.
Well, some of the positives are giving towards Matty Ice right now. They're praising him because he's getting the ball out of his hands, right? He's spreading the ball around. He's getting it to every receiver. Is that an example of Matty Ice spreading it around, or he's running for his freaking life? You know what I mean?
Well, save that for a second. We'll get to that one in a little bit. We can already agree, it seems like, with our guys, our athletes up front, that it's advantage Cowboys. We all agree?
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah.
Definitely.
Straight flush. Okay. All right. So let's move on then. Running backs. So I'm going to jump out and say this with the running backs just real quick. We saw with Dallas last week, right? The main problem was they had to tackle well. They didn't tackle well in space, didn't tackle well after the catch. They just didn't tackle well in general, it seems like. With these running backs,
14 missed tackles.
14 missed tackles?
14.
See, that's why I brought you guys on for stats like this. I appreciate that. So 14 missed tackles last week. Okay. So it looks like with these guys with Atlanta, just my take, there's nothing to worry about with these running backs on their own. They don't seem very elusive. It seems like they don't block well up front. But just kind of looking at it from the other perspective, is there anything about these running backs that we should fear? Mark, I'll start with you this time around.
3.4 yards a carry, one of the worst averages in the NFL. Yep. They don't rush. Wow. They don't have a lot of attempts. They're one of the last teams in attempts. I don't, we were talking about this a little earlier. Cordell Patterson, he's a very talented player, man. He's coming out the backfield. He's doing a lot of different things from the looks that they give, but he doesn't scare me from a running back standpoint. I don't see him moving the pile. I'm not really worried about him getting through those gaps and just exploding on us. I am worried about him coming out of the backfield, catching a wheel route, coming out to the flats and doing something along those lines. But then you got Mike Davis back there. Mike Davis scared me when he was with Carolina.
He did.
Not anymore. Not anymore. He's a between the tackles type of runner, but he's not going to break anything on you. They're not going to run him to the outside. They're going to be pretty predictable with the offensive personnel they have in the game. So for me, I really don't fear the run game. I fear Matty Ice. For the past, they won 3 out of 4 of the last games, and he is 70% completion percentage. He's second in the NFL behind Kyler Murray. That's who I fear. So,
Dylan.
I'm worried in the sense that I think the weakness of the defense is the rush defense. It seems like all year we've been giving up a lot of big runs, but people have to abandon it because they can't keep up with our offense otherwise. But in terms of being scared of Cordell Patterson or Davis, no, I'm not worried about it.
Yeah. But I'm with the guys, LP, man. I mean, like Mark just stated, man, the bottom of the league in rush attempts, and they're only averaging 3-point yards per carry. But Patterson, man, he's definitely a threat, man. I mean, he leads the NFC in combined yards with 1,069, and the only 2 guys behind him is Derrick Henry and Jonathan Taylor in the entire NFL. But I'll quote, like I quoted earlier, I'm gonna quote the great Heckma Harrison, man. Even a Chrysler 300 looks like a Bentley. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, dog.
the thing with Patterson though is like he was his previous game he was 6 catches for 126 yards. Now that's good production. The thing that does worry me from that is he was targeted 6 times and he caught all 6. So it seems to me like his receiving skills might have got a little bit of an uptick there. Maybe he's understanding the route tree a little bit differently, and they're bringing him out of the backfield to run that instead of like lining him up in the slot or something along those lines. Because and from my standpoint, what I do about that is I put my super athlete on him, Parsons.
Micah.
Yeah.
All right, man. So that sounds like a perfect segue.
Quarterbacks, I'm spying him.
Yeah. Hey,
So
our weapon
ahead,
X against their weapon X. You know what I'm saying?
It's more like, Y, maybe Z. I mean, okay.
Yeah, you're right. I like it.
All right, man. All right. So you guys kind of led me into this topic real fast, right? And I'll leave it open before I jump in. I'll let you guys kind of take the baton for me. So talking about the Falcons receivers, tight ends versus our back 7, linebackers, like you said, Micah and everybody else, right? It seems like we had to mention this guy, Cordell Patterson, twice because you said he's a weapon in some regards. I've watched him. I've watched the last 2 Atlanta games. And the one thing about Cordell that I see is that he plays with Mike Davis. He plays as a slot guy, as a receiver. He does everything. But the one stat that I saw is that his ADOT, or his average depth of target, is 3 yards down the field. So it's check down. So basically, if you guys keep score at home, that too. So it's like they're comfortable finding him the ball, like you said, bubble screens, even him doing ankle routes as a running back. A lot of that too.
Yeah.
And just watching him play, it seems like him, because he's a receiver by heart, right? So he's 6'2". His footwork, the way he moves, you guys are better scouts than me, but his footwork is like that of a receiver. It's not choppy, it's not swift, it's long strides to kind of get your moves going downhill. But I'll just say this though, he's their receiver, he's their primary guy. But looking at these guys, man, what should we be accounting for outside of him? Besides the big guy you're going to talk about, what should we be looking at? What should we be accounting for?
Man, the receiving core, man, like Mark said, he's either getting out the ball fast, Matty Ice, or and he's connecting, man. He's finding the open guys. It's Pitts, it's Gage, it's that only made I can't say, man.
Zacchaeus.
Zacchaeus, man. Hey,
Olamide Zacchaeus.
Yeah, I'm bad with it, man, but bad with the names, man. But yeah, dude, like he just went off he had 2 touchdowns and like, what was it, 80 yards, somewhere around that area. So I mean, Matty Ice is definitely finding the open guy, man. They're getting more comfortable in their scheme, and that could pose a threat, man. You know what I mean? So we'll see.
Yeah, especially with Trayvon's technique having a problem. And I'm looking at you, Dylan.
Anyway, I gotta go, guys.
I gotta go. Hey.
No, I mean, Matty Ice is their offense, man. I mean, they don't have,
he is.
He's pretty much their offense. If you can, but the thing that I really love about this is we have a defensive coordinator right now that knows him in ways and out ways. I mean,
Yes,
Dan Quinn was
sir.
with him for about 6 years.
Yes,
Dude,
sir.
the way Dan Quinn is, the way he analyzes everything, I'm very certain that he knows the strengths and weaknesses of Matty Ice. But, it's a little different when you know somebody that well, because it's not like, well, okay, I'm going to show him this, and this is what he's going to do. He knows how to piss this dude off 3 plays before he's going to do what he's going to do. You know what I mean?
That's
like,
right.
guys that well, bro. So, yes, Matty Ice is their number one weapon. He's getting it out. I think they even showed his pre-snap is right there with Dak, so what's going on, Matty Ice? But if you can shut that down, I don't see anybody else that, take a basketball quote, is creating their own shot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mm.
Hey, let me add this though.
Russell Gage can go over the top, but outside of that, they don't have much for receivers. Kyle Pitts is their receiver.
But we said that about the Broncos too. So
yeah.
Nah. You know what?
No,
it's different,
Jerry
bro.
Jeudy and Cortland Sutton. Yeah.
I mean, Mark just touched on Quinn, man. Hey, Kazi and Neal, they were in practice against this guy, man. So, tendencies, like I said, they might be running a different scheme now, but they'll always know the quarterback's tendencies, man. You know what I mean? You learn that stuff playing with these guys, man. So we're gonna see, man. If people don't think, if people don't think Neal, Kazi, and Quinn don't want this, and that the boys ain't gonna back them up on this, oh man, come on, they got something coming. You know what I mean? So,
when you think about both of those players you just talked about, shoulder up, they're very impressive. Keanu Neal and Kazi.
Mark. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So Adam, you had something you wanted to ask though.
I got nothing to add. I was saying the Falcons are in for a long, hard night. If you follow me on Twitter, you know the reference.
Yeah, we'll keep it PG-13 on here.
Yeah.
Look, man, I knew I was getting myself into when I brought you guys on. So go ahead and be ourselves, man. So wait, one thing though. So I shouldn't have said that, man. But all right. So one thing though, man, I want to add in though. One thing I forgot to mention though about this team. Because we talk about tendencies, right? We talk about what they do with tendencies. And, oh, man, he put on the skull cap. Oh, he's ready to go. All right. So basically, the one thing I wanted to point out, because I don't think this has been kind of mentioned online or anything like that. So with their targets, right, and their weapons. So Matt Ryan, a third of his attempts have gone to Patterson and Kyle Pitts. Now, if you factor in Calvin Ridley, that means almost half. So pretty much everything that they intend to do is going to be either to this guy, Patterson, or Pitts. For that reason, my answer is yes. I know what Dylan's going to say. Dylan, I know what your answer is, but I'll ask everybody anyway. Do you say forget it and just have Diggs follow this guy Pitts all game long? Because I would.
Yes, absolutely. Have Diggs follow Pitts. That is his type. That's his archetype of receiver that you want him to follow. The big guy. Diggs' weakness is the shifty kind of route runners. You put them on Pitts, their best weapon. The targets, they want to go to him. Let Diggs go take him away. Put him on the island, erase him.
Thoughts? Go ahead, shoot.
Hey, if Surtain can handle Pitts in college, man, my boy Diggs can do it right now in the NFL. Let's go.
All right.
Well,
all right.
I mean,
okay.
You said it, though. You said
it. You were ready.
I told you. No, with Pitts, man. Like, look, I'm there with you. We talked about it a little earlier. I would put Trayvon on him, initially, but I wouldn't just keep him on there and just throw it away and say that's your man. Jaron Kearse, that's his specialty. That's what he came into this defense to do, to take away tight ends. Okay. With Pitts, there's one thing that Kearse is a little better than Trayvon with. He's a little stronger with the upper body. And I'm pretty sure coming off the line, you line up Pitts on the outside. I mean, I wouldn't put Kearse on him if he splits out wide. That's Trayvon's job. But if he's coming in slot in traditional tight end spot, I'm putting Kearse on. I'm gonna make him fight with that dude. Hey, and what I'm gonna tell Kearse is, look, I don't give a damn if you hold him. I don't give a shit if it's pass interference. Don't let this dude get off. Get in his head, frustrate him, talk shit to him. Dude, when he's on the ground, I might just be saying something else to him. Like, that's the way I'm working him. I'm gonna get different guys on him. And then with Patterson coming with that, Parsons is gonna follow him everywhere. I'm treating him like he's Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
Okay. Because the only thing he can do, you just said it. I mean, what? Under 5 yards down the field is where he makes the majority of his catches. So what's going on?
Right.
Yeah. So what's going on? And those are arm tackles he's breaking, man. Go break an arm tackle from the water boy. I want to see.
All right, fellas. So since we got also on the, all right, so let's focus on this guy. So I don't know if you guys have watched. I've watched the last 2 Atlanta games with Carolina and New Orleans. Matt Ryan, right? Matt Ryan, for me, seems to stand out where he's playing at a frenetic pace. Like, we thought this team would suck. Like, we thought they'd be pretty bad. The reason why they're not bad is this guy is, like you said, getting rid of the ball quick. He's making quick decisions. He looks good. And the one sneak thing about Matt Ryan is he's a lot more mobile than I thought. Like, he's moving around really good in the pocket and outside the pocket. He's matching both of those things. So as an individual quarterback versus our pass rush, knowing that their O-line is like really average, how do you think he stands up to our pass rush, seeing our guys, Gregory, Osa, how do you think he does against that in the face of pressure? Thoughts?
I think there's a lot of rollouts that are coming our way.
Yeah. Well, I'll hit you with this, man, because I hit the stat earlier, man. The Cowboys posted their worst pass rush win rate of the season versus Denver, 31.4%. Previously, their lowest was week 1 versus Tampa Bay, which was 38%. In their 6 victories, they posted above 50%. So 2 games they didn't get home, man. And if they don't get home, it seems to be bad on the defensive side. You know what I mean? If they're not winning, so we'll see.
Go ahead, Mark.
Well, I think, pinning your ears back and just coming after Matty Ice is the wrong idea. You're not going to just do that because then you're going to work your way past his ass because he's a smart quarterback. He's been to a Super Bowl, guys. He might have shit the bed in that Super Bowl, but he's been to the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? I mean, and hey, Dan Quinn saw him shit the bed there. So there's another thing. Anyway, with that, I mean, we can't just pin our ears back, like I said, and come after him. It's not going to work out that way. I mean, when he came out of college, he had a reputation for being, we're going to label him, sneaky athletic, in other words, athletic and white,
Dylan, thoughts, man?
So Matt Ryan, he gets the ball out quick. That's the strength of their offense and everything. What is Diggs' weakness?
Technique and
double moves, right? Isn't that what you said?
Double
moves require a long progressing offense, and if they're dinking and dunking and getting the ball out quick, that plays right in our hands. Trayvon Diggs.
Well, and the thing about it is, the thing is this also. Now let me correct the misnomer here because I do not want to talk down on Trayvon and say his weakness is double moves. I'm saying that's what they're taking advantage of right now in his aggressiveness. I really don't think he has trouble with double moves. I think what he has to do is, like we said earlier, settle down. Come to the beginning part of the game, get your technique down, because that's when they're going to try to challenge you with those double moves. Look, he runs a 4.42. He's 6'1", 6'2", with the range of a 6'4" guy. He has every tool you need to be able to shut all these things down. The thing about it is, keep your technique sound. Know that not just this game, actually about 2 or 3 more games, they're going to be coming at you early and often. They're going to challenge you with double moves. Let's say we shut their offense down to 10 points. It doesn't matter. The following game, somebody's still going to try it on you. So keep your technique down in the beginning half of the next 2 or 3 games with Trayvon. Basically.
As for our defensive line, I think Randy Gregory is going to have a hell of a game. He was disappointing last season, last game, but this game he's gonna have a favorable matchup. He's gonna beast out, and then Osa he's been getting a lot of pressure recently.
You know what?
Oh,
you know what though?
Let's go.
But from that standpoint right there, Dylan, what you said with Randy, you know what I noticed in the last game is we are using Micah on a lot more stunts. Randy's taking up 2 or 3 blocks, not necessarily trying to get to the quarterback, but holding up that block. And Micah's understanding the timing of coming off that, making a spin move or coming in. Those 2 sacks he had, one of them was a beautiful stunt off the attention that Randy got. So, yeah, I think Randy's going to have a big game. But once Randy starts getting at their offensive line, you're going to start seeing the dogs come out, man. I really think that.
Let's get it.
So, fellas, one thing before I move on, though, one thing that stood out. When I watched Atlanta last time, the one thing is they love to do hard play action fake, Take your linebackers to come up and throw behind with these crossing routes and dig routes. It's a staple of what they do in Tennessee. You see it with Tannehill to AJ Brown. They do it all day long. Arthur Smith came from Tennessee, so you're seeing the same concepts. I said this on Twitter before we hopped on the pod, but your linebackers have to play with better eye discipline, meaning you better get better depth. You better be ready to see that over your head because they're going to try to hit you with these passes repeatedly. I watched, they were playing against Carolina. I only got to the third quarter. They ran that concept about 6 times. Like, that's their bread and butter is hard play action fake, dig routes over the top. So just kind of watch that. That's my whole
So
thing.
expect a lot of cover 4 then. Expect a lot of cover 4 if that's what they're going to be doing.
I hope so.
I mean, those linebackers, they have to get, with that aspect right there, what we're looking at is we're looking at limiting over the top, anything over the top, and allowing those linebackers to get out to the flats and get out to the sideline to try to do what they know how to do. Either, get there for the tackle, because we can't have 14 missed tackles.
Can't do it.
Okay. Yeah. I knew already. I already knew. I stopped myself. I didn't go with the MF right there, so I stopped myself.
Censorship for YouTube. I appreciate that, man. All right, it sounds like we have more concern about covering these guys versus stopping the run. That's our focal point, right? Because you guys seem a little bit more like
Well, 3 yards down the field, that's basically a run. If you complete a pass 3 yards down the field,
Fair point.
All right, guys. All in all, LP, man, I'm selling out, man. I'm selling out on.
You going hard?
The run. Yeah. I mean, you can't allow. I mean, we're sitting here saying Patterson and Mike Davis average 3.4 yards a carry. They're bottom of the league, but all it takes is for them to feed.
You're right.
Feed. And then here we go. They're busting for 15, 20 yards down there, and we can't. It's similar to what we saw with Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams, man. So I'm selling out, man. I'm selling out. I'm letting Matty Ice or Matt Ryan. I'm trying to stop Matt Ryan from turning into Matty Ice. You know what I mean?
I'm trying to turn him into Matthew. That's what I'm trying to do.
Matthew.
Yeah.
All right.
So man, I'm selling out, man. Let's go.
All right, fellas. So moving on to the Cowboys offense, my favorite part, versus the opponent's defense, the Falcons, man. So I'll start real quick. Aside from Grady Jarrett, we've already talked about Grady Jarrett some. Aside from Grady Jarrett, and I guess we can add in Terrence Steele too. Is there anybody else that got you guys kind of antsy, man, in this matchup? So I'm gonna start off with you, Dylan.
They got some players over there Cowboys fans should be familiar with. If you follow the draft covers, they got Richie Grant, they got Morig, they got Avery Williams. They got some players that Cowboys fans wanted pre-draft, and I'm not worried so much because our offense is better. We have better players on offense than they do on defense. But AJ Terrell, shout out to him, he's having a good year.
Yeah. Deion Jones is over there still. Richie Grant. Man, I sure wanted to draft Richie Grant, man. I wanted him. I wanted to put the star on that boy, man. Like you said, AJ Terrell's there. Maru's there, whatever. Hey, don't laugh at me. Y'all know.
Hey,
and then
we got
Kyle Pitts. I mean, everybody wanted. I mean, I'm looking at you, Dylan. So.
We still with that.
Yeah. That is kind of a weird thing this year, though, man. I've never seen a year in which everybody that we wanted to talk about pre-draft, we've had to see him on the calendar. It was our guy Slater. I think it was Slater. It was Surtain. Like, we've seen all these guys face to face, and they've all been playing well, man. But Mike has been holding us down.
And they all been as advertised, bro.
Yeah. Everybody, man.
Everybody. Horn was going to be another one of them, but he got injured.
Oh, Caleb? Yeah. I mean, I gotta let go of my VTech biases aside sometimes, man. I gotta check myself sometimes. I get carried away with that. But I mean, so it sounds like the only guys we're focusing on, I guess, is these players, right? Because it seems like, man, I looked them up. I don't see anybody to really worry about, especially on the D line. It seems kind of dry. No Fowler that we talked about, he's out. So that's pretty much it, man. I mean,
nose tackle Tyler Davidson. Behind him is Taquan Graham from UT. You know what I mean? It's the rookie. So and they run that base 3-4, man. So there's gonna be some winning lanes there, man. I could see Zeke having a big day. Pollard possibly, man. So
you know what's crazy,
we're gonna
man?
have to keep Zeke in the block too much.
I don't think so. So you know what's weird, right?
I don't think so.
So here's the weird thing, right? So I was kind of popping in the game. I looked at it, right? And you guys probably would know how this thing works for 3-4 alignments and how you do it. It seems like they want this guy, Jerry, to get up the field so bad that they'll leave cutback lanes wide open. Like, I saw one play where he kind of went upfield, turned his whole body, and this wasn't by like design or like the tackle or guard making a great block. That was his intent, and he left a huge cutback lane behind him. Like if this is Tony Pollard, man, that's 10, 12, 15 all day long, man.
He's popping
like
off.
it's if you have him in your fantasy league, pick him up, do what you got to do, because it looks like he's gonna be having cutback city all day long with this group, man. Plus, like I said, they don't stop the run that well either. Like I feel like they're missing so much, man. Like I feel like they're missing a whole lot. So just kind of segue into this group, man. So you talked about Adam, talked about God, now I can't say his name. Foyesade Olukun and Deion Jones, man. So
what's his name? What is it?
Foyesade Olukun.
Okay.
Foyesade Olukun. Yeah. Okay.
I had to practice that one, man.
Yeah.
I read that one off the teleprompter, man. So all right, guys.
If I can hear you say it, then I can say it right behind you. But me doing it first, it's not happening.
I should have gave you confidence, man. I should give you confidence, man. You got this. All right. These linebackers, man, how do y'all feel about them? How do you feel like what we should do? Like, what's y'all plan of attack with these linebackers?
You want me to go first? With these linebackers, man, I'm running right at them, to be honest with you. I'm not getting cute with it. I'm not gonna, I'm gonna break out that 201 yards game we were averaging about 2 games ago, and I'm gonna run Zeke through the between the tackles. I'm gonna give Tony. I'm gonna do what they do best, each one, until they stop it. I mean, I'm not gonna get too cute with it. The other thing I'm gonna do also is Michael Gallup's coming back, and that doesn't mean that I'm sitting set on the bench. That means that I'm gonna sit Brown on the bench. That means that I'm not gonna get too much. I'm not seeing Malik Turner out there. But I'm willing to bet we're going to see a little something more out of Gallup's route running, and possibly a little something out of said to Gallup, maybe.
Yeah, I like that.
Go on, Mark.
Because with these defenses, with this defense, with that secondary, with everything we've been talking about, it leads to a lot of holes. Okay, and once you start getting people going in different directions, Gallup, nope. Everybody understands Gallup's the go route guy. We all know that. Okay, that's what he is. But at the same time, it's not like that's all he can do. You can put him in the slot. He can run every route on the tree. So I really see I think we're gonna get very inventive with Gallup, and I think that we're gonna come at them in a different way that they haven't seen. I also expect a few things from Schultz too, because we're gonna inline block with him initially to try to give Dak a little bit more time. Hopefully that shoulder, is not heaving things down the field anymore, and it's gonna be on target. And I really think we're gonna go that route, man. Seriously. Maybe we'll see some Schultz-inator this game.
Yeah, I agree with Mark, man. But if we're going back, go ahead, Dylan. Oh, I don't mean to cut you off, man. But if we were talking about linebackers, man, Deion Jones, 6'1", 227, man. He's already recorded 2 sacks this season. Has 42 solo tackles, man. So they're and 1 fumble for loss. So they're definitely using this guy to in that base 3-4. They're definitely using him to rush and do other things like that. But he definitely can be taken advantage of, man. So like Mark said, man, we just this could be a Schultz game as well, man. There's plenty of ways to attack this thing, man. Then let him have it, Dylan. What's gonna happen, man?
Mark was on there trying to sweet talk me, man, talking about Michael Gallup coming back, because man, we're gonna have CeeDee Lamb back in the slot, getting free releases, going down the seams. We can go 4 wide. We can put Cedric out there. The way we attack these linebackers is we spread them out. You're not going to want to have linebackers on the field. So that's the way I'm going. Air it out.
Deion Jones has been a stud in his career, but he was a stud a little bit more when he had people that could produce around him. When you're asking him to do so much, I really think it's wearing him thin. He is a hell of a linebacker. Deion Jones ain't no punk, but he's a lot better when he has but he's a lot better when he has other people to work with.
Yeah, I think so. I think the thing with them is they've been kind of stripped down a little bit too. Like it's not the Atlanta that we know of, man. This team is way different, way different. Man,
without Quinn there, their defense is a little different.
So here's one thing I also picked up on is they blitz their linebackers so much that they leave the safety. I think his name is Eric Harris. He's a vet for real, but they leave him in the slot one-on-one a lot, man, a lot. Like if there's a game where Dallas can wake up and get their mojo back, it's this team, because it's like, like T.I., man, you can have it however you like. Like it's whatever you want. You can go run the ball down their throat. You can throw it on them.
You want.
How you want it.
Yeah.
Well, Tony Pollard, actually, he was a slot receiver in college, if you remember. Tony Pollard isn't just a running back. You could see something like that, right?
Let him catch the ball.
Hey man, there's a few people that need to do that. CD had and Coop had some issues too with some drops. So everybody need to catch the ball to help that.
Man, it was the big plays, man. I'm just gonna chalk it up to them boys were already, because had they catch those balls, man, in that game, man, I hate to go back to that game. Those are 40-yard pops at least. They're gone.
Mm-hmm.
They were looking. There's no answer to what's about it.
Well, we were talking about the fourth down conversions, the attempts, and that's not an example of pressing to me, though. That's not an example of going for it on fourth down as much as we do and as much as we did, and we didn't have success. I think it was just an example of not hitting the receiver on target.
Yeah.
When you look at some of the numbers, we're actually not that great at fourth down conversions. This week we're at 27th in the league. Before that, we were 24th coming into the Denver game. Yeah, look at your eyes. Yeah. Look at your eyes, LP. You thought it was a lot better than that because that's what we do, right? Because we go for it on fourth down, right? But at the same time, it's not like we came into that game against Denver being top 10. We didn't. This is what we do. It wasn't just a sense of we got behind and now we got to press and now we got to. No, that's what we do. On that one throw to CD, he led him to the outside. If he leads him to the inside, it's a touchdown, and we're all praising Dak for being Dak.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's indicative of who they are. It's not, the aggressiveness is not a anomaly with them. We've seen this week in, week out. How do I know this? Because I have Zerline in my fantasy team. We don't kick the ball ever. We go for it. So
exactly.
It ain't nothing brand new.
Yeah. Well, you ain't gonna have him this week on your team. You better switch it up and get Lirim Hiralahu.
Hey, let's go.
Now that's the name I can't say. That's the name I really can't say.
What is it, Adam?
Hiralahu.
Lirim
Hiralahu.
Hiralahu.
There you go. Hey!
Yeah, let's go.
There it is.
Man, Adam, I hope you never had to say somebody's name at graduation ever, man. Like, for their sake, please never have that job, man. So, but it seems like we can all agree. So it sounds like we all agree this is the defense we should smoke up and down, right? No objections?
Absolutely.
Man.
So
they don't have
one last note, man. If y'all didn't know this, they are bottom 5 in points per game allowed. Bottom 5.
All this negativity towards them is like, it's like leading me in a different direction though now. It's like all this negativity, I'm over here like, 31-10, yeah. But then I'm getting this different feeling like I did when I was talking about Denver. And I'm over here like, I ain't scared of shit. Yeah, let's go ahead.
We were like, they shipped out old boy to the Rams. Oh man.
When you talk about rushing the ball, right? Because I didn't think we had to worry about the Patriots running the ball on us. I'm still trying to remember the running back's name, Stevenson, who made him look like, he was Dalvin Cook out there. And then before that, Sam Darnold out there looking like Lamar Jackson right down the middle of the field on us. So it's like, I want to say I'm not scared of the rush, look at all the numbers and all that. But when we're coming off the performance we just came off with Denver, can we really, hey, look, we're all trying to hope into this cockiness, but hey, man, I hope we're not falling into some more quicksand, bro.
But can I flip it, right? Can I flip it?
Yeah, go ahead.
So if we watch Denver, right? So we looked at Denver, we pulled the numbers, we looked at all the stats that led up to that game. We said to ourselves, by measure of what they have and who they are, you should beat this team, right? And it's not coming from a spot of us being Cowboy fans and being overly optimistic. I think the analytics and the numbers said you should beat this team. It's that this week, but even more so based on the numbers, the stats, the talent that they have, you should beat that team. So if we walk away, and by the way, disclaimer, I'm going to ask you for a score anyway, Mark. But if I say to you, okay, what should be the score in this game? Should we win this game? Yes or no? If you say we should blow them out, nobody in their right mind can really argue on that point. I don't think you can have an argument and say we're being homers. I think we're telling the truth. Like, hey, look, you should whip this team up and down the field. So that's just me, man.
If we're the team we think we are, we should beat the shit out of this team.
Agreed.
That's fact.
Agreed. Drag them.
Barring everybody having their worst game at the same week, we are going to blow them out. It's just
that was last week. That was last week. Like they played their worst game last week, and it was still 16-0 in the third quarter, where you could have snatched them, but stuff happened.
And I think if we would have got that punt block, I think we would have won. I think
you mean the punt for 2 yards? The punt for 2 yards. Hey, do you know that Malik Turner would have made NFL history right there? Do you know that?
How so?
He would have been the first player in NFL history to get a punt block and 2 touchdowns in the same game. but they took that punt block away from him. It wasn't a punt block. It was considered a 2-yard punt.
So it's a punt block. That was like a muffed recovery. They took
they
took it away from him.
Yeah.
Yep.
So wait,
2-yard advance.
2-yard advance,
question:
yeah.
if I block a field goal and I scoop it up, but I mishandle it and they recover, they get the ball?
It depends. It depends on those rules. I mean, if it's advanced, if it's in the backfield and there's no advancement to it, then it's going to be a different result. But it was advanced by 2 yards.
Block it straight up. I catch it behind the line of scrimmage.
You can get it behind the line of scrimmage. Yes, exactly. It is a stupid rule.
It's a stupid rule, man.
It's just it's one of those rules, man, in the NFL where there's been overanalyzation to it that's never really happened, and then there's a rule stating it, and they're going, okay, well, we got to follow the rule, right? Kind of like the desk catch, bullshit.
Yeah, man. Yeah. All right, fellas. So it seems like we expect that to go for something crazy in this game. Kick the juice out this team and just run them up and down the field. So drum roll. So I got to ask you guys to wrap this show up. So I'm going to ask you guys, we'll go around the table real quick. So pick a player of the game on offense and one on defense. I'm going to start with Adam.
For the Cowboys?
Yeah, for us, man. I don't care about nothing.
Yeah, I will. Hey, here's the game. Randy Gregory, I think he gets 5 sacks. It's just a wild prediction. So that's my defensive guy.
5 sacks.
Yeah, I said it on my podcast because we like to go wild. You know what I'm saying? And on offense, man, I'm gonna go ahead and say that boy CD gonna eat, man. I think he's gonna eat, man. You know what I mean?
Stats, numbers, toss.
I think he's going 120-2.
All right, Dylan. What's up?
Yeah, defense, I don't know how I can pick anybody except Michael Parsons. The last 2 games, he's been incredible. I said it on the podcast. It looked like it was the Denver Broncos versus Michael Parsons because he was the only one playing. So, until he shows me otherwise, he's going to be my defensive player of the game. But on offense, Dak, just knowing the type of player he is, he's going to come back and ball out. He wasn't happy with that performance. He was throwing all arm. He wasn't using his lower body much. And I think another week for the calf, and he's getting CD Lamb back in the slot, Michael Gallup outside. I think he's going to go crazy.
Okay.
Numbers, man.
Yeah. I'm gonna go a little
man.
different route here. I'm taking Dan Quinn on defense.
That's a good one.
Dan Quinn because I think that he
killing me, man.
I know
go ahead,
out of the box
go
thinking,
first,
LP, and I had to jump on it first, though, man.
That's being a good host, man.
Well, hey, there you go. Nice and gracious. I appreciate that, LP.
You're welcome.
Just considering how well he knows Matty, I want him to turn him into Matthew, or even Mateo. He's not even Mexican. We'll call him Mateo. I want him to turn him into that. I know that he knows his tendencies. And like I said, there's situations where somebody's tendencies and you'll know what they're going to do on a certain down and distance. But I really think Quinn has his damn number, man. I think it's a lot more than just tendencies. I think he's in his own head and he's going to screw with him. So Dan Quinn on defense. And on offense, Michael Gallup. We're going to go 8 catches, 120 yards, and a touchdown.
Wow. All right. So y'all stole all the good answers, every single one of them. God,
give us some bad answers, LP.
Nah, ain't no bad answers here. Never that. So I'll start defense, man. Defense, I'll piggyback off of Dan Quinn, but I'll piggyback Dan Quinn's guy. So give me KZ, man. KZ.
Yeah.
If you say that these guys know Matt Ryan inside and out, who else but KZ? So give me KZ in this game for sure. Offense, man, I said I like these cutback lanes a whole lot, and I think this is a Tony Pollard game. I think you guys, I mean, it's not going to be like 160, 170, but I think he'll break a big run. So maybe he'll kind of mix it in with like 70 yards rushing, maybe another 60 to through the air. So give me Pollard for this one, man. I think that's what kind of goes down. Finally, score, man. Let me start this time with Dylan. Give me a score.
I got 38-27 Cowboys. I think they make it look closer than it was in the fourth quarter with a couple garbage time scores. But, Dan Quinn, revenge game, Dak, revenge game. I think everybody's going crazy this week.
Mm-hmm.
Adam, call it.
45-27, man. I think we start off kind of slow, man, but then the floodgates open up, man. You know what I mean? So 45-27.
34-10 Cowboys. 34-10 Cowboys.
There you go.
the long dick of the Dallas Cowboys is coming for the Falcons.
So close, man.
Banging through the bedroom door.
Yes, right through the bedroom door there, Dylan.
All right, man. So I'm
They are
close. I'm close
scared.
too. So I said 34-20, but dang, man. Yeah, so y'all got blowouts happening here. Okay. Like Vegas don't exist. All right.
Hey, man, if we're the team we think we're going to be, I got to see that, to be honest with you, man. Like, seriously, like, we're all diehards here. We all, we would love a win in any way we can get it. But at the same time, I want to see my team. I want to see this team that I've touted, this team that I've been watching since the preseason. I know what they can come in here and do. And that's take out their frustrations on these boys, man.
That's one thing we haven't seen, though. We haven't seen them get beat down and respond. So that's a great point. I mean, we've seen them beat down the Eagles left and right. Those are other teams in the division, but it's a good call, man. It's a good call. Well, fellas, man, it's been fun, man.
Ooh,
that was Mark.
Yeah,
you switch sides.
Now I'm saying for 7 games, hey, for 7 games, we saw what we were, man. They faced adversity. And so, I mean, and we were averaging, 35, 37 points a game?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 200 yards rushing, 200 yards rushing against defenses that are better than this one.
I'm talking it up, man. The Broncos was just a
aberration.
Yes, aberration.
Let me ask you guys, though. We all think we're going to blow them out. What do you think it's going to take for us to lose this game?
The same things.
Exactly what happened in the Broncos
game. Do you
really
want to know?
The same things.
Let's hear it.
Cooper Rush coming in for Dak.
So Dak getting into
something less bleak then, man. Something less bleak.
I know. I just didn't want to say it. You know what I'm saying? But basically, if in my opinion, if Dak is in there, we're winning the game.
I like it.
Go ahead, Adam. Thoughts, man, on that one?
Man, I'm with my guys, man. I'm with y'all, man. I mean, if this the team that we think it is, and that we beat our chest about being the number one offense in the league, and we can go toe to toe with anybody any damn day, then this should be a blowout, man, because the Falcons don't have nothing for us. You feel me? So
if we got the mojo we think we do, this shouldn't even be an issue, man.
Yep.
I hope they place exactly how Denver played it. Stack the run against the box and play one-on-one with our receivers. Because if Dak is, if his calf is fine, that's a death sentence. They're gonna like
it's that. A copycat league, bro. It's a copycat league. So you know,
and that's the thing, though. I mean, that's the thing. Well, I mean, that's what Dylan said online too. Because Dylan, I think you brought it. I think Dylan was like, "Hey, man, please do it again. Please try that again."
Absolutely, bring it on.
McCarthy said it in the press conference. He said, "This is a copycat league. I hope the teams do watch it and come play us like that." So
I predict what's going to happen is they're going to try to do the same thing Denver did to us for about a quarter or two. We're going to get in that ass, and they're going to start panicking. They're going to start falling back to what they are comfortable doing, and that's when everything's going to get out of control for them.
Actually, you know what, man? I had one more question on that. Not to backtrack too far, but this came up to me last week, and I hate to go back to Denver because that memory already sucks, but. The one thing I noticed with Kellen Moore all season long is that they go to halftime to come back out in the half. They got these new, not tricks, but these new concepts and ideas to run through. Were you guys kind of disappointed by what happened in the second half? Were you surprised that they didn't have something ready for Denver in the second half?
No, I wasn't, man, because just where we were and what I saw out of Dak, what I saw out of him throwing the ball, I think Kellen saw that as well. And so some of those things, he knows his quarterback just like we do. And at the same time, I'd rather him, let's put it this way. If he's going to dial up a play and he sees Dak overthrowing or underthrowing his receivers, he might just dial something up to make it a little easier throw than something that has to go through a window. Could be a pick coming the other direction. So playing with that coming into the third quarter, he didn't know what he could basically do. And then when it got settled down, we started getting in that ass, getting to our rhythm. But I mean, we needed another quarter. Another quarter.
I agree, but at the same time, too, man, I would probably took the Cooper Rush Minnesota approach too, man. They knew what Cooper Rush was, and if Dak wasn't feeling right and the game wasn't going right, why not see those jumbo packages and those stacked boxes? Give Dak some shorter throws, little things like that, man. Try to open things up too. So yeah, I mean, I understand everything too, man, but I also feel like this was on Kellen as well, man. Execution played a big part, but I feel like it was on Kellen as well. So, yeah.
Execution. That's my word. I didn't come away from that game thinking the scheme was a problem or Kellen should have did more. I think if Dak was just hitting those throws or the wide receivers were catching, then it's an entirely different game. It's just a bad execution all around.
I would have been upset if we would have dialed it back. If we wouldn't have been going on fourth down, going for it. If we would have just done something different and when it started playing a little more conservative, I think I would have been upset with that. Ask me about that next week. Ask me about that next week, okay? Because I got an answer right now, and I'm going with my confidence, and I'm going, just with what I believe for the rest of the season. Yeah. So for me, I got to look at Kellen, and I got to look at it and say, okay, I am disappointed in the result, but I'm going to back you for another game and say, I got you. But I swear to God, man, if I see, like for me, you not seeing the jumbo package or the Hulk package, whatever that was. Yeah. I think it might have been more of an issue with what was going on in the game, not just, it getting biased. But if I don't see it again, and if I don't see any creativeness in this game, well, then it looks like maybe Kellen got punched in the mouth and he's not Mike Tyson. He might be somebody else. So.
Yeah, questions. All right. Well, fellas, man, before we get out of here, man, first thing I gotta say is thank y'all for coming on, working with me through all these technical issues and difficulties, man. I'm glad y'all came on to do this with me. I appreciate it in spades, man. So, but before we slide up out of here, man, this is gonna happen again. So be ready, man. Hey, Adam, get your stuff together next time, man. Just because we coming back to do this.
Hey, let's go.
Hey, guys, how can we find you guys, man?
LP, don't worry.
Man, yeah,
what the hell was happening, dog?
With the old folks, man, you gotta help them out a little bit.
That's right. Yeah.
But yo, Dylan, man, with you, man, how can we find you everywhere, man? Let us know.
Yeah, find me on Twitter at Dylan88Wilson. We're gonna have a good time on there, and if that doesn't scare you away, click the link in my bio and it'll take you to my TikTok. We're gonna talk Cowboys. We're gonna talk all kinds of stuff on there. So yeah, I'm not doing the Buster Challenge yet, but we getting there.
Adam, man, how about you, yo?
Hey, man, Adam Y. Talking Boys with the Boys, man. Your host, man. Here with my two guys, as always, Dylan Wilson and Mark D, man. Doing big things, man. You've been on there twice, man. I'm happy that you invited us here, man. Shouts out, man. Hey, you know how we do it. We get wildest over there on our side, man. We don't care, man. So yeah, dude. Adam Y. Talking Boys with the Boys at Hop the Bill on Twitter, man. You can find us streaming on all platforms, bro.
With the boys,
Mark D on Twitter at Mark D's Corner. Mark D Talking Boys with the Boys, and like I said on Facebook, Mark DeLeon. Come on, get educated a little bit and talk a little shit.
Hey, fellas, man. Once again, guys, if you're on Twitter, definitely follow these guys, man. They're great follows. Got a lot of information. The podcast is fantastic as well. And of course, Dylan's too modest to mention his YouTube channel Off Top. So also hit that sub button for him at Off Top on YouTube. He's a modest man on YouTube, but somehow not on Twitter. I can't call it, but definitely follow this guy, man. And once again, it's me, your host, LP Cruz at SDQ Flight Crew. Fellas, once again, thanks for coming on, making the time. You know for sure that I appreciate it. The Cowboys Nation also appreciates it. And I appreciate y'all too. Y'all would hit that sub button on this video. Like, sub, comment, share with your friends. Let them know how we can find the team. But once again, thank y'all for watching.
Subscribe.
Exactly.
So, thanks for watching, man. And as always, Cowboys up, fellas. Peace.
Yes, sir. Yo.